Hello and welcome to Undercurrent. I'm your host, Bass Tadros. And today we're taking a look back through some of Perth's prominent stories for 2017. With the first one being the Warren Jones International Regatta. The regatta hit the Swan River back in February 2017, and it gave the opportunity to local sailors to compete against some of the world's best. Eliza Wilson with this prominent event.
We're off to the Swan River to check out the Warren Jones International Youth Regatta. It's a highly regarded event. Let's go and have a look. We're joined here with Andy Fethers, the chairman of the Warren Jones International Youth Regatta.
Okay, so this regatta has been running for 15 years. It's the first time we've taken it here to the city front, but the intention of this regatta is to provide youth pathways for kids that are under 25 and give them a leg up in the sport of sailing to either A, make a career out of the sport, or B, just personal development in their lives.
And what's your role as chairman?
You know, my job really is in the setting up of the regatta. So ultimately, if I've done my job well, I don't have to do too much on a day like today, because we have the race committee, we have the teams here, we have the umpires, we've got over 70 volunteers on the water. So at this stage of the regatta, my role is just to be a short stop if there's any holes in the racing.
So how much planning is involved in the lead up to this event?
Yeah, so it's an annual event, you know, so the planning starts pretty much the day this event finishes, and it probably costs me about 20% of my working time.
Wow. And how do you pick the 12 teams that are competing here today?
Yeah, so the event's set up as an invitational. What's really terrific is with the 12 invited teams, we have 5 of these teams that are in the top 13 open ranked sailors in the world, and we have 10 in the top 100. So we've got 10% of the top 100 sailors in the world here competing. How
do you go funding such an event? Are there people interested in sponsoring you?
Yeah, so basically we have 8 boat sponsorships available for our 8 boats on the water, and then we have a principal sponsor. So the City of Perth came on board this year as the principal sponsor. We have the Lucky Shag Waterfront Bar, ASG and Amex are supporting, and a few other, we have a broadcast partner with Front Row Screens and loads of other just in-kind support.
Fantastic. Well, I've had a great day here. It's been great to actually be a part of all this, so thank you for your time. So we are here with the defending champion of the Warren Jones International Youth Regatta. Can you tell me a bit about yourself, please, and how you got involved with sailing?
Yeah, my name is Sam Gilmour. This is home for us. We're a team based out of Perth, Western Australia. Got into sailing basically because my family was really involved in it. So from a young age, we were travelling around in New Zealand and the US, and that was my dad's job, and naturally I got into sailing through that.
What does it mean for you to win an event such as this?
Yeah, this was last year when we won, it was a pretty big deal for us. I mean, this is sort of on the cusp of getting onto the world tour with sailing, so to win that meant that we could really push on to the world tour, and it's really, we followed the win up here with a third at one of the World Championship level events. So that was really exciting to get this win and then have a pretty good placing at the next event. It also carried into our overall ranking, which now my ranking sits at third on the international rankings, which is really good. So this year has presented us with a lot of opportunity, and that really comes back to having won last year.
That's amazing. And what training is involved leading up to an event such as the International Warren Jones?
We try to get out on the water probably 3 to 4 times a week, particularly leading up to events. We'll be out there every day. And for this event, we do have a couple of new crew members on board. So it means that we want to get as much training in before the event as we can. So we did about 4 days leading up to the event, but in the long term, we do a lot of conditioning in the gym. We're probably in the gym 5 or 6 days a week, and just spending as much time together, training on the boats and working out a lot of stuff between ourselves.
Well, thank you so much for your time and good luck today. Thank you. Well, it was a fantastic day on the river today. Some intense competition out there. I'm Eliza Wilson for Undercurrent.
Child health advocate Dr. Michael Watson has raised alarms about the behaviour we've learned to accept from our politicians. Earlier this year, Warren Millsbeny interviewed Dr. Michael Watson about his challenge to our then Premier Colin Barnett at the WA 2017 state elections.
I'm here with Dr. Watson, who is going up against Colin Barnett in the upcoming state elections. Now, Michael, what made you decide to go up against our Premier?
So I'm a child health advocate, and I've been campaigning for children's health for the last 20 years. A recent issue that we've been dealing with is the treatment of children with developmental disability in schools. And I was coming to see Colin on the 18th of March of last year to bring him an allegorical story called Matthew's Story, a case study of the human condition. The end result of that meeting was Colin raised his voice and told his constituency office secretary that I was never to get an appointment in his constituency office ever again. What that's done is taken away my access to democracy. And I'm really at the point now where the only way that I can get my message across is to stand against Colin. But I'm also standing against a lot of the issues of our democratic system, and particularly the way our politicians behave.
Now, with regards to the incident on the 18th of March, Colin Barnett did mention that your behaviour was unacceptable to begin with. What do you have to say about that?
So at this stage, I think it's only fair to allow Colin an opportunity to tell his side of the story. So I have asked Colin to make a written statement about what he thought happened at the meeting and what he felt unacceptable about my behaviours.
Now, I gather that you took exception at Ben White's comments about the Premier.
I think it was legitimate for Ben to criticise Colin for politicising a human tragedy. The Claremont murders were a substantial and very important tragedy in our society, and I don't think it was appropriate to bring those into a political campaign. Having said that, I don't think it's appropriate to personally demean any parliamentary colleague. And I think calling someone a little despicable, desperate man is really inappropriate. I think he needs to apologise. Now, I can understand that parliamentarians are human beings, and when issues become personal, that they can lose their cool and they can say things that they regret. The really important thing is that they then sincerely apologise and obviously do their best not to do it again. So I think it's essential that Ben Wyatt apologise for his comment. If he can't apologise for his comment, then I think he needs to consider resigning as a parliamentarian. These are our community leaders. They need to set examples for others. And I think most of our society are fed up with the behaviour of politicians. And what we expect is for them to behave respectfully to each other.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your time, and all the best for the upcoming elections.
Thanks very much.
One of the recent useful tools that Facebook has implemented is the live streaming app. And we're seeing that in recent days, people are live streaming crime. Just recently, 2 acts of murder have been committed on live stream.
Crime scenes are now being streamed live on Facebook, and it's becoming a national conversation. Fort Wayne Police Public Information Officer John Chambers says using Facebook Live to stream a crime can be good, but it depends on the situation.
It's very subjective to say what is permissible and what isn't, what crosses a line and what doesn't. That's for us as a society to decide.
Today we're going to hit to the streets of Perth and we're going to ask a few people what their opinion is on that.
I think it's horrific. Yeah, really terrible. I've never heard of anything like that, and I probably wouldn't, none of my group of friends would be into forwarding anything like that on, so thank God.
Sometimes it just shows up in people's feed without even them requesting it.
Okay, that's awful.
They should really be doing something about it. It's definitely not a good thing to hear about.
I think that's just unacceptable. It shouldn't really be on social media because it affects a lot of the population, especially the kids.
I think it's horrible, obviously. I think something that needs to be done is, it's pretty hard to get on top of it as it's the second it comes online.
Obviously they need to cut down on what's happening and figure out how to, I guess, stop that before it becomes live stream.
There should be some regulation.
There should be a regulation to regulate that?
Some sort of regulation, yeah, for people who cannot, like some stuff. Like Facebook itself should have some kind of screening, but I don't know how much work needs to be done.
Do you think the government should have something to do with that? Or?
It's not really a regulatory thing. It's to do with social media. So it's really the companies that promote social media should be involved.
So definitely up to Facebook, yeah. So I think they have a bit of responsibility on that side, yeah.
So Facebook should be filtering that out?
Yes, yeah, I do think so. I think it's something that they could organise so that certain videos or certain things don't come up when people do try to upload them.
Well, I think private users shouldn't be doing it to start with, basically. I think it's not something most people in society want to film or should even think about doing, but certainly I think live streaming like that should be censored before it's put on Facebook.
Of course the user, but the Facebook would have some responsibility for sure.
A bit of both, I think. I think Facebook should take responsibility for it and be on top of it a lot faster, but obviously there's going to be a lot of people doing it all at the same time. And then also it comes down to the personal user, if they want to get rid of it or if they actually want to watch. Most of the time people will just watch, unfortunately.
But Facebook certainly commercialize, they make a lot of money. But they got to also provide protection to the wider community. It makes it useful for the society, not just taking advantage.
Bass Tadros for Undercurrent. Stay tuned, Undercurrent will be back after a short break.